Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's City and Guilds webinar. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. The numbers are increasing as I speak. We've got record-breaking amounts of registrations on this webinar today, which is amazing. So I'm just watching the numbers going up now. We're up to just over 250 at the moment. So people are just jumping on as we hit 12 o'clock. So thank you so much for joining us today. We are here today to talk about our brand new Level 2 award in supporting wellbeing and mental health of self and others. I'm hoping everybody can hear me okay and that everybody's sound is okay and they can see my slides. I have got some people in the chat, monitoring the chat, so if anyone's having any issues, do pop. Oh, I've got lots of thumbs up, which is brilliant. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. Oops, sorry, my slide's not moving yet. It might just be a little bit of a lag. So just a quick bit of housekeeping to start off with. The session is being recorded. This will automatically be sent out to everybody following the webinar, so we will have that recording for future reference as well. Everybody is kept on mute. With there being so many people on a session like this, it's too much for everybody to be talking. So we've got you on mute, but please do use the chat function. And if you have any questions, can you use the question box so that we can then gather those questions? If we'll endeavour to answer as many as we can today, but if we don't get round to answering all of the questions, then we will be able to pull those off and answer them at a later date. So please use the question box for any questions that crop up throughout the session. If the session does cut off, please do use the original link to come back on. Check your own settings as well, because I know sometimes when I've gone onto this platform, sometimes I have to move around my microphone or my speaker setting to make sure I can hear and see everything properly. So today we've got a few team members here. We've got some other team members in the background from City and Guilds, but today I've invited along some colleagues to support me in delivering this webinar, because when we first started with this qualification, it was sort of came from sort of a hair and beauty team idea originally, and then we realised that actually it fits for so many other vocational areas. So I've invited some of my colleagues along today to support in delivering this, to let you know sort of how it can fit in other areas as well. So if I want to hand over to Amelia to just quickly introduce herself.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Amelia Woodward and I'm the Technical Advisor for Catering and Hospitality.
Thank you, Amelia. And Jason?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Jason Howe, I'm the Technical Advisor for Construction and the Built Environment.
And Sarah?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sarah Chamberlain. I am the Technical Advisor for Land-Based.
Thank you. And I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Helen Hall and I'm the Technical Advisor for Hair and Beauty here at City and Guilds. So thank you so much for joining me today, and you will hear from Amelia, Sarah and Jason shortly. So first of all, I am going to launch a quick poll. I want you to, this is the first time I've done this, so let's see if it works. So there should be a question on your screen now. What percentage of UK adults do you think rate their life satisfaction as a 9 or 10 out of 10? So great, brilliant. It's working because lots of people are pressing the button and we are getting some results in. Thank you so much. Jumping around a little bit. So we've got low percentage, 2% of people say 73%, 44% of people are saying 24%, and then about even on 26% and 49%. Okay, I'm going to end the poll there. Thank you, everybody. So the results from the most recent report about UK wellbeing was that 24.4% of adults said that their life satisfaction was a 9 or a 10 out of 10. And this is a decrease from last year, as it was 26% before. So I use this statistic really just to kind of start off this webinar in it being a bit of a wake-up call really about the well-being and our own mental health, how important it is that we are considering that, and considering that of the young people that we're working with as well. So with that in mind, we're super proud to be here today to introduce to you our new qualification. So the qualification is the City and Guilds Level 2 award in supporting wellbeing and mental health of self and others. Now there's a focus on the title being wellbeing and mental health. So wellbeing being really the kind of main goal in that title really. I'm going to hand over quickly now to Sarah, and she's going to just talk about a little bit of an introduction to the qualification and what it's about.
Thanks, Helen. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Yeah, so just a little intro really into the qualification and the kind of things that it covers. And just going back to what Helen was saying about how this originally came from hair and beauty, and obviously I work in the land industry. And when I saw this qualification, it took me back to all my teaching days in FE and land, and all the learners we would see coming through in land-based industries, particularly in animal care, I have to say, where they really struggled with their mental health and well-being. So I think this qualification will be great going across different industries. It's a regulated qualification. It offers significant value in terms of enrichment, and it's a continually evolving topic in terms of well-being and mental health, both looking after yourself and looking after the others around you. So it is going to be really valuable. It's going to open up alternative pathways within this sector, and it's really going to support your learners in terms of their personal development, but also their future career opportunities as well. It's designed to be delivered alongside other programs, so your main qualifications that you're delivering. It can be front loaded, you can embed it within your enrichment sessions or your pastoral sessions, tutorials, that kind of thing, or you can deliver it as a standalone enhancement as well. It'll enrich your curriculum delivery, and it hopefully is going to contribute to improved achievement and positive destination outcomes for your learners as well. It is more than just a certificate, so although it is a qualification and they will get a certificate at the end of it, it's also going to give them those practical skills and that toolkit to empower your learners to, you know, really understand their well-being and their own mental health, and those that of those around them as well. It will help them to identify any concerns. It will help them to offer peer support, so to recognise issues with their peers around them that they can potentially flag to somebody else as well. And it will also help them to signpost individuals to appropriate services as well. And it's fully aligned with the Ofsted Education Inspection Framework and Keeping Children and Adults Safe in Education guidance for 2025-26.
Thank you, Sarah. So where the idea originated within the hair and beauty team, we were talking about, you know, what can we offer our customers as something new, exciting, a little bit different. And we were aware that within the apprenticeship standard and those knowledge, skills and behaviours, there were case statements around that health, well-being and mental health. And from a hair and beauty point of view, it's about the stylist and what they deal with on a day-to-day basis and how it might impact them at work, and how they might deal with that. At the end of the day, how do they sort of dump that information that they've maybe taken on from their clients? So on the back of sort of noticing it within our standards, we noticed that there was a common theme across a number of industry standards. So we've got gas engineering operatives, carpentry and joinery, commis chef, production chef, and food and beverage, team member food and beverage. So there was a number of KSBs where this theme was running through, and that was at the point where we decided that actually this qualification doesn't need to be just hair and beauty, it needs to be across all vocational areas. So we're really keen to sort of, you know, see how everybody kind of embeds that into their own curriculums in their own areas. So the qualification itself, so the purpose of the qualification is to equip learners with the skills needed to support their own well-being and mental health for themselves and others in the workplace. Now, what we mean by that is it's a basic understanding. I've had a few questions posed before the webinar started around how it fits in with the mental health first aid qualification. Now, it's not a qualification to prepare a learner to be able to deal with other people's mental health. It's about understanding their own well-being. It's about understanding the working world and the struggles that you face on a day-to-day basis and how you're dealing with that, and sort of have ways to coping strategies and things, problems that might occur during life, and how you might be able to sort of recognize those signals and things happening with yourself or with others. So it's kind of more of a light touch around that well-being and mental health. We're thinking about those young people that are coming into education at the age of 16, preparing for employment and having that awareness of that well-being and mental health. It's just a single unit award qualification with the guided learning hours of 8. So we're looking at the idea of this to be delivered within a day, maybe during an induction period or as an enrichment day or something throughout the curriculum. The assessment method is one multiple choice evolve question exam. And the registration fee is going to be £25. Now, at the moment, this qualification is not funded. It is with the pause and review with the reform qualifications, it's been difficult for us to submit anything at the moment, and we're hoping to have a window to be able to make submissions further down the line. So at the moment, this qualification was designed to offer you something new, something different. We've kept it as low cost as we possibly can, and at the moment it's a registration fee of just £25. However, what I would like to let you know is that we've got an exclusive launch offer. So this is for from now and through until the 31st of December, you would be able to do this qualification free of charge for approval of qualification and learner registration. So we're offering a free learner registration from now till the 31st of December. So that 25 fee will not start until the 1st of January. So I really urge anyone that's interested in delivering this qualification to get the learners registered between now and Christmas, so that you have the opportunity to take advantage of this exclusive offer. It's our way of saying thank you to you and giving something back, but also in support of Mental Health Day, which is celebrated this October. So it's a kind of like incorporating all of those things together. So we're really excited to be able to offer that free of charge until the 31st of December. So the qualification content is just a single unit. The unit is Wellbeing and Mental Health in Self and Others, and there's just one unit aim and 3 learning outcomes. So the aim of the unit is to provide learners with a foundational understanding of wellbeing and mental health, including key characteristics and influencing factors, the importance of supporting themselves and others, and developing personal resilience. The unit is designed to raise awareness and promote positive mental health practices in learners' everyday lives and within their own organisations. And I'm going to now hand over to my colleagues to talk you through each of those learning outcomes. So learning outcome 1 is over to Amelia. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thanks, Helen. So learning outcome 1 is all about setting the scene. So an overview of wellbeing and mental health. So here learners are going to gain an insight into the definitions of wellbeing and mental health and what these mean to enable us all to function and thrive whilst building resilience and managing our emotions. Then learners will be able to consider the characteristics of a positive state of mind to ensure that they can cope with their everyday lives, feeling good about themselves while contributing meaningfully to society. The second part then starts to delve a little deeper and look at the types of factors that affect our well-being and mental health. This is absolutely relevant to all industries, as we've already said, but certainly in mine, in hospitality and catering, lots is discussed around substance addictions. And to cope with this, sometimes also working within grueling hot conditions and long hours, or constant effects of heavy lifting and being on our feet all day. And nutrition also plays a huge part, and many who actually work in the hospitality industry, whilst you think would be great at being able to feed themselves, struggle to do this because they spend all their time actually looking after everybody else and not themselves. And this then sort of will obviously extend into other industries. So thinking about that nurturing and looking after other people, health and social care would be prime for this as well. So these are just some of the characteristics that learners will learn about and consider, but there are many more that are involved in this particular learning outcome, such as trauma and bereavement. That's it for this first learning outcome. So over to the next one.
Thank you, Amelia. And that's brilliant. So I really wanted to kind of capture those different vocational areas and how it's relevant in those areas as well. Thank you for that. So Jason is going to talk you through outcome 2.
Yeah, thank you for that. Before we start, obviously, when we look at this from a construction perspective, it's super proud for myself and just a huge thank you to Helen and Sitting Guilds and all of the team for putting something like this together, because this qualification can certainly add value and hopefully change lives as well. And every little helps, which I think is a quote from a supermarket brand, and I think that's so important when we're looking at these topics. And within construction, we've tried to do so much to help, and hopefully this will go a little bit further with that. So looking at learning outcome 2, it's all around how we support well-being and mental health, and looking at effective communication is it was Bob Hoskins, I think, if back in the day on the old BT adverts, when it was good to talk, and that's paramount in this, and how you can develop those positive relationships through communication. And that could be whether that's open communication or being a good listener, showing empathy and emotional awareness and non-judgmental support as well. So that all encapsulates sort of the first criteria that we have in this. Then we look at things like supportive environments, and this could be anything from how, if you're looking at it from an organizational point of view, how people can access support, how they're welcomed into an organization, how they're meant to feel a part of it, what training could be available as well, because that's always a key thing, and things like this, because often it's not easy for people to identify the signs. So hopefully this helps start to embed that. Then we look at, encouraging open conversations, as we mentioned, and how to support, but also how to escalate any concerns that you may have as well. So that's all covered within that criteria. Then we look at the importance of promoting a mentally balanced environment, and sort of this is more looking at it from both point of view of the individual, but also as an organization. And what that looks like is sort of your quality of life, your quality of work life, your better well-being, not just mentally but also physically as well, and how that comes about. And then from an organizational point of view, you'd have things like less absenteeism, probably more productivity, a more healthy and happy workforce as well. So that is all encapsulated in this. And when we look at mental health and well-being, when we look at it from a construction point of view, it is massively, unfortunately, that now there is the biggest fatality in construction is no longer falls from height. It is suicide, and it's that bravado that surrounds construction from my sector, and that hopefully this helps along that way, and helps chip away at that, so that we can try and reduce the fatalities that come about within construction. So massively supportive of this, and hopefully a lot of centres taken on board, and judging by the questions, I think that's going to be the case. So just a huge thank you, and thanks, Helen.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, and again, great sort of relation there to that construction industry as well. Thank you. And then the third outcome, I'm going to hand over to Sarah.
Thanks, Helen. So the final learning outcome is all about supporting your learners to build personal resilience. And I think, we all know how important that is. Post-COVID in particular, our young people often really struggle in this changing world, all the things that they potentially have to deal with, whether that's social media, whether that's things going on at home. And from a land perspective, we see a lot of learners coming into the land industry areas because they sometimes, when in the case of animal care, it's because they don't enjoy spending a lot of time with people. They maybe struggle socially a little bit. They very much like being outdoors and doing things out in the open, and they do struggle with their resilience and actually dealing with life on a day-to-day basis. So this learning outcome will really support them with that. It will help them develop those skills to be resilient going forward. They'll understand why it's important to be resilient, how they can react to change, what they can do when things are happening that maybe are not going well for them, and how they can continue to be resilient and continue to move forward. It will give them those techniques and skills to do that, to be able to develop personally, so those personal management skills, self-management, so they're not always going to be relying on what's happening around them. They're able to take themselves and move forward, and also where they can potentially go to get professional support should they need it, or peer support and social support as well. So again, echo what Amelia and Jason have already said, really, that this qualification will go across all the different industry areas, but I can see it being really valuable in my industry area of land, in supporting the learners in that area.
Thank you, Sarah. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight on the qualification and the sort of depth, or, it's not an in-depth understanding as such. It is just that kind of like basic understanding, really, of what a young person's going to start experience as they enter that world of work. We have got a fantastic handbook that accompanies this qualification with a lot more detail, and all the outcomes are detailed in there, with a little bit more information for you. So hopefully that will be some really good reading for you to get to understand it all a little bit fuller. So the knowledge assessment is going to be one multiple choice evolved test. I always want to say test paper, but it's not a paper because it's online. So this will be online, 20 multiple choice questions. The benefits of this, there'll be no marking. There'll be 2 resit opportunities, and the resit fee will be just £5. This gives us instant results and instant achievement. So getting that done in a day is quite possible. You could do your delivery, and then the students could sit that knowledge assessment at the end of the day, or they could do it the following day first thing. But it's instant results and achievement, which is a really nice thing for that kind of quick win for a learner that's just sort of starting on a programme. There are sample tests available, and these can be found on our website. And there is also a mark scheme to accompany that sample test paper. There's no or low quality assurance needed for your online evolved tests, and all exam concessions will still apply for any learners that are entitled to those. When preparing your learners for those evolved tests, there's just some points here to sort of consider. Use obviously the support resources that are available in preparing those learners ready for that evolved test. Make sure the learners are well prepared, and when they're not rushing to their exam, and they're organised and they've got everything they need for that exam. Use revision techniques before the tests. It does actually really benefit a learner to do some cram revision before sitting a multiple choice question paper. So I've always thought cram revision was like a bit of a waste of time, but it actually isn't. It is really beneficial in this style of exam. Make sure the learners are reading all the questions through and understanding the questions before attempting to answer. We all do that quick skim read the question and quickly look at the answers and think, oh, I know that, but have they actually thoroughly read that question and understood the answers before attempting? Use that process of elimination when looking at those options and deciding what's definitely not correct, and then deciding that there's only 1 or 2 possible answers afterwards to stand more chance of getting those questions correct. Check that all answers are correct at the end of the test. Go back. I know that this is probably the one thing the learners hate doing the most, but they really must go back through and check their answers to make sure they're happy. Use the allocated time. Students often with a multiple choice question paper will go into the exam room, attempt 10 minutes or so and come away again. If they've got an hour, get them to use an hour, or at least the majority of that, 90% of that time should be used for the exam. And if a learner doesn't achieve that first attempt, ensure that further learning is taking place before they're going for their resit. Now, just to note that there are only 2 resit opportunities for this. The reason for this is because the content's quite small, and the questions that are provided, they would obviously be repeated very, very quickly if the learners were sitting them multiple times. So there are 2 resit opportunities for this qualification. So some suggestions for delivery. You could actually invite in some guest speakers from local organisations such as Mind or other charities. Anybody that's sort of got qualifications within that, counselling, mental health, that type of thing, could come in and have a chat with the learners to sort of understand some of the difficulties that people face and how they can deal with them. And obviously that resilience is really, really important, as Sarah was talking about. So they could support with that. You could collaborate with other departments such as your health and social care, sports, performing arts, to have a different viewpoint on how that delivery is done in different areas. Link in with peer mentoring or buddy support systems within the organisation to support the importance of that qualification. Encourage that collaborative working on the qualification to promote empathy and teamwork. Link it to the real world using those contexts about the vocational context and the social media impact, and that sort of well-being within the educational establishment or workplace, making sure that everything is provided for those learners, the importance of that. Utilize your mental health statistics and adult mental health statistics as a foundational concept. Create a safe learning environment and ensure that be mindful of those triggers that some learners experience. And use Moodle and Blackboard for discussions, forums, reflective journals and things like that. So who can deliver this award? So any centre who is already approved to deliver a level 2 City and Guilds qualification can deliver this Wellbeing and Mental Health Award. And anyone who is occupationally competent in any level 2 vocational area can deliver this. You don't have to have any qualifications in mental health or wellbeing to be able to deliver, because it is just about understanding the world of work and the day-to-day issues that arise. So as long as you are an approved City and Guild Centre and you're vocationally competent in a level 2 area. So why would you choose to do this award? So we've listened to customer feedback where customers have sort of designed their own qualifications around this, or their own programs, if you like, around this topic. So this actually provides really good evidence and gives a regulated certificate qualification for those learners. It's a really good toolkit, again, supporting the learners through their journey. Again, we've mentioned before about the Ofsted criteria and being able to sort of tick that box, if you like, of that well-being, that enrichment that you're providing for those learners. It's a great CPD opportunity for staff and obviously for students as well. It gives added value to any qualification. So there's a number of qualifications that perhaps don't have this theme running through them. Certainly with our older qualifications, it's sort of more of a new concept, isn't it? So those older qualifications might not have this theme running through. So it's a really good addition. It does prepare those learners for the world of work, and it opens doors for further learning in that wellbeing space. It might be that a learner does want to go in a little bit deeper and understand a little bit more. So it's a really good introduction. So this award is for any 16 plus learner. So we've pitched it at that 16 plus because with any learners that are under 16 might not be quite ready to embark on this. So we've gone 16 plus. Employers can do it, teaching and training staff, managers, and it's going to be available to everybody across England. The nations, as far as we're at the moment, it's available for anybody to register in Scotland. As with Northern Ireland and Wales, there's a little bit of work to be done around being ready to register for that from Wales and Northern Ireland, but that should be very imminent. Certainly with Wales, it's looking at a window to be able to submit that for Wales. So that's in the process. Prison and probation services and international as well. We wanted to make this accessible for everybody. We've had some great employer recognition. So we've had Adam Sloan, who is a barber and hairdresser, and he has endorsed this qualification. And also we've had a wellbeing coach for young people has also endorsed this qualification, which was really good for us to see and sort of have that support from industry people that there is a space for this and that we need this for our young people. Okay, I'm about to launch my second poll. So the question is, would you find the award in Wellbeing and Mental Health a valuable addition to your curriculum? Fantastic. We've got a really, really high yes rate, and we've got some maybes. It would be nice to understand why the maybe might be, and it might be around, the sort of, how is this going to work in your area? So that might be why that's a maybe, but that's really positive to see that 84% of you have said yes, you would definitely be interested. Thank you. And then I've got another question to pose to you. So would you and your staff use this award in mental health as an internal CPD option? Fantastic. Great results coming through. So again, really positive. So we've got a couple of people that have said they wouldn't, but that's okay. And lots of maybes, and then a good 69% of people that said that they would like to use that. That's fantastic. Thank you. So where to find support material? We have a live website, a live web page on our website for this qualification. So you can use the search bar and type in the qualification code, which is 104902, or I tried it earlier and I just wrote Wellbeing and it actually came up in the search bar on the basis of it just being Wellbeing as well. So it's got its own page. And on that page, you can see we've got the qualification handbook. We also have that sample test paper and those answers for the sample test paper. So my last question to ask you, again, using our poll, are you interested in being contacted by a member of the team to discuss our next steps to find out more? Thank you. Jumping around a little bit, but we've got a good strong 84%. Thank you. So next step is qualification approval. So as I've stated before, this qualification approval is free of charge. So there is on our website, if you go to the customer application form section, and there is a form that you can fill in to complete your application form for this qualification. You only have to be already listed as a City and Guild Centre to be able to apply to deliver this qualification. So we're really excited. This is something new. We wanted to be able to provide something new and exciting because there's been little action with qualifications since the reform. So we're excited to be able to offer something new, and we really hope that you can take advantage of the free of charge offer and get those learners registered as soon as possible. We had some frequently asked questions earlier on when you registered. So I think I've answered the majority of those questions while during the presentation. But the sort of ones that were coming out as a popular question we had is it a funded route? At the moment, this qualification will be full cost recovery, and there is no funding for it at the moment. The price of the qualification, so we've got that free of charge offer from the 2nd of September through to the 31st of December, and then it's £25 thereon. How does this compare to the mental health first aid course? As I said before, it's a very different style qualification. It's not preparing, it's just that fundamental principles of mental health and wellbeing. Is this available to secondary schools? As we said before, it's 16 plus learners. So if you've got students that are over 16, then in your City and Guilds approved area, yes, that's suitable. But anybody under the age of 16, it's not suitable for. And is this a standalone qualification, or can it be a bolt-on? So this is a fantastic opportunity to bolt this qualification on to existing courses that you're delivering. Just a reminder to sign up for our email updates, just so that you are informed fully of any changes or anything new that we've got coming here at City and Guilds. And I'm going to hand over and will ask in the background from Emma or Oliver if we've got any questions that we need to answer that I haven't already covered.
Hi, Helen. Thank you so much for your delivery and for your colleagues as well. So Jason, Amelia and Sarah also. There's been so many questions in the chat. Oliver and I have been really busy trying to answer as many as we can. And you've answered and covered lots of it actually as the webinar's progressed. Something really interesting is around, we've actually got quite a few people attending the webinar who are ILM centres. So absolutely everybody who is in the chat, in the webinar, who is an ILM centre, I know that's a very active and live conversation, Helen, you've been having with our colleagues with the ILM sort of side. Are they able to register now? Are we adding that into that for them as well? Have we got anything we can tell everybody now, or do we need to come
absolutely
back?
And any ILM, ILM customers absolutely as well can also apply and register learners. Yes, definitely.
But we might just need to look at where at the moment we're hosting the qualification on our City and Guilds web pages, but we might need to look at hosting it also on ILM somehow, or having a link to as such. But I think maybe we will take that away. I don't know if Amelia has got any more knowledge. I know Julie's not on the line at the moment, but how we make that work. So I guess we'll come back to everybody, will we, Helen, with exactly how that will work.
Yeah, and I know that Julie has already, she in her most recent update webinar, she talked about this qualification. So there will be a recording available for that. So it might be worth looking for that on our GoToWebinar platform, if not reaching out to Julie Rowlett, who is our technical advisor for ILM. So yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you, Helen. Lots and lots of interest. So conversation around the nations. We know that there's a slightly different process for enabling qualifications to be live across the nations. So it just takes a little bit longer. We have to first and foremostly have the qualification live in England, Ofqual regulated, etc. But I believe it's imminent. Simon, I believe, is on the webinar as well. Simon, I'm not sure if you've got any timelines that we're able to share, or is it just that we're working hard behind the scenes to do that?
I don't know whether he's going to.
I'm not sure if Simon's there actually, but we know that.
Sorry, yes, I am here. I just
lovely.
couldn't find the microphone button. Yeah, we are working on the other home nations, and hopefully, we're talking a matter of weeks as opposed to months.
Wonderful. Lovely. Thank you very much, Simon. And that is the same for our international offer as well. This will be offered internationally. It's just a slightly different price book, slightly different system. So now that we sort of are live in England, that was very, very, very sort of soon to be followed as well. So I think just to reiterate really, Helen, that this is something different for City and Guilds. So we're offering free of charge qualification approval for all of our centres. You've explained where to find that form, how to, to complete that process. And also that induction kind of period, initial launch period. So from the 1st of September to the 31st of December, free of charge learner registrations. That's whether they are learners in full-time education, whether they're apprentices, employers, yourselves as lecturers and assessors. There is that free of charge period for learner registrations. And then the small fee of £25 will be applicable from the 1st of January 2026. I know Oliver has been busy answering some questions behind the scenes as well. Oliver, is there anything in particular that you wanted to draw out of those as well?
Thanks, Emma. It was just basically around the Evolve testing. So we've had a few questions from centres that don't currently use Evolve testing. So could you explain, Helen, the process behind how that would be set up for those centres?
I'm going to pass that one to Amelia. If Amelia doesn't mind jumping in and answering that for me, that would be really helpful if she's still here.
I'm absolutely still here. I mean, that's one that we'll have to take away to assessment, because I'm not sure whether, if a decision's been made, whether we can offer any paper-based. So we'll have to take that one away, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So currently, it is currently going to be online assessed only. I think if you haven't used Evolve testing platforms before, my advice would be to reach out to your technical advisor and or your business manager, and they will be able to talk to you about how to set up and how to navigate and use our Evolve learning platform, just to make sure that you've got all the access and bits and pieces that you need. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought that was a question as to whether we're offering it paper-based, but yes, so
Sorry,
we've got
Amelia.
digital solutions managers, so yeah, they can support, and I can we can perhaps share that as well, the digital solutions managers email, if we're going to provide some FAQs, or if we need to go for more information on the ILM. So ILM centres can use us, absolutely, there's no problem. So we just need to get clarification as to how that'll work. But they should be able to just register and use that exact form that you showed initially, Helen.
Yeah, and I do believe that as we said, business development managers and digital solutions managers will be able to support with that if you don't already have the Evolve platform, getting set up with that. I don't know if there's a cost. I don't know if there's a cost to set. Do you know if there's a cost to setting up Evolve, Amelia?
No.
There's no cost.
No, absolutely not.
Fantastic. And normal exam concessions apply. So if you do have clients, customers, or learners, and a couple of people have said who are blind or have different learning needs and requirements, absolutely normal exam concessions apply. So readers, scribes, and all of those sorts of bits and pieces as well. And then Helen, I think it'd be really great if you could just remind everybody where to find the materials, the information, because Oliver and I have just been explaining to everybody the quickest way to do that is to go onto the City and Guilds website, isn't it, and how to use that search function. If you could kindly just refresh everybody's memories where to find it.
Yeah, sure. So on my slide 23, you'll be sent this through as well. If you use the little search function on the website and either type in the qualification code, or I did it earlier and just typed in Wellbeing and it came up as in a list there. So you can click on the award and supporting wellbeing and mental health. And then you have the drop down boxes for information or documents. So if you click on documents, and then you'll there have your sample test papers and answer paper and your qualification handbook. So everything is there in one place for you to support with that. And obviously that handbook is really useful in supporting in that delivery. I can see quite a few questions around delivering this qualification via Teams or Zooms for students that don't always come into college. Absolutely. Then delivery wise, however you see it's a knowledge based, it's not a practical based. So if you wanted to do this online to students that are in the workplace, then that is definitely a possibility. And again, you could even have somebody dialing in from one of those charities to support with that delivery as well. So that would be a really good way to get the information through. Is there anything else, Oliver, that's standing out to you? I can see there's so many questions there, which is great.
Yeah, we've had lots of fantastic questions. I think we've had a couple around delivering this in prison environment when it comes to the examination process. And also there's a couple around the cost of resit fees on the exams on Evolve.
Okay, so your resit fee is £5. There are only 2 resit opportunities. As for delivering in prisons, we have a number of prisons that are able to support that Evolve testing. I do appreciate that there are some prisons that perhaps can't support that. At the moment, it is online only, and part of the reason as well, if we have paper-based options as well, they would still need to be externally marked, which increases cost of everything as well. So we wanted this opportunity to be a low-cost option for people, but certainly that is something that we can take away and have consideration for in the future. I know it has been raised already, so it is a really good question, and we are aware that paper-based options are good for people, but it doesn't always fit with every qualification as well. So, but thank you for that feedback.
Thank you, Helen. And there's a few questions around this opportunity for CPD, and there's lots of people talking around, who can it be delivered to, when, and what's the duration. And I think you started the webinar with that information around this is really short and sharp. It's supposed to be very much, a maximum really 8 guided learning hours, isn't it, Helen? So whilst people have said, are there teaching and learning resources? I think if you've covered this really well in the webinar, that actually we've made a conscious decision not to provide handouts and lesson plans and things things like that, because there's such an amazing wealth of information already available out there. Really, it's about everything that you've covered in this presentation, and utilizing, you know, peer support and all of the different wonderful charities. It's very much an exploratory type of qualification, isn't it, Helen? It's about individuals, whether they're, again, learners, apprentices, employers, staff, you know, yourselves, really exploring well-being and how to support yourself. So kind of those different tasks, aren't there, too? So looking into it really, and almost having an exploratory session together, and then on alone as well. And then really that multiple choice end evolve or online test is really there to just make sure that information has been captured and that understanding's been met, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just scanning down through some of these questions as well to see if there's anything else that I can answer. It's just so many, which is fantastic. So thank you for all the questions. One of the questions I noticed asking if it can be delivered to adults. Absolutely. If you are a City and Guilds Centre with approval for a level 2 functional skill, yes, that's also you can apply as you've got the functional skills level 2 delivery. It's suitable for level 3 learners as well. We've sort of pitched it at level 2, but if you wanted to deliver it alongside a level 3 qualification, then you could do that as well. Teaching materials other than our handbook, which has got details of all the content, and obviously our sample papers, and then really those teaching materials on top of that would probably be, you know, pulling on resources of people, really, of knowledge and experience. So I think that would be your best bet with that delivery. Somebody else has asked about how long. So it is 8 guided learning hours. The idea would it be delivered within a day. I think we could probably keep going, couldn't we? So many questions. So what we'll do is we will have a look at those questions afterwards and see if there's anything that we have missed, and we will reach out to you. You will be sent this recording, so if you missed anything at the beginning, or if you did have to, I think some people have started to leave, so we will certainly send that recording out to everybody so that you've got all the information. If there's nothing else, Oliver and Emma, I'd like to just thank my colleagues for supporting me today, and I will say good afternoon to you all. Lots of thumbs up, claps and love hearts. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate all of your time, and we look forward to hearing the successes of you delivering our qualification.